Hey, what's going on, gang? Nice to see y'all. Chrissy, Warlock, Olivia. Nice. Hope y'all are doing all right. I think I'm about ready. I'm gonna run ads just so I don't have to wait until boil alive in the hot tub. Yeah, I'd be boiling alive right now. Pretty good. I'm gonna run some ads to get those out of the way for real quick here, and then I will be ready to go, I think. Yeah. Let's see. Oh man. My it's like 125 degrees. Jeez. My my neighbors have a hot tub that they don't use, and I get really tempted to just kind of maybe slide on over there sometime soon. Oh man, they don't ever use their hot tub, and it's like, man, come on. I'll use it. I'm gonna grab my water. Then I think I'm good. I set up a new scene for DnD browser stuff, so we'll see how this goes. I gotta say, I'm a huge fan of this roller rink mix, though, that I got. Found, rather. This bathtub's close enough. Yes'm. Man. Sitting on some jets sounds real nice right now. It's still snowing outside. Or at least it was when I was out there a minute ago. It's really pretty out, though. Alright, man, oh man. think we are finally good. I don't have a button for this scene, so... Hey, gang. Hi. Hello. How are we living? Oh, that's a problem. Just a second. Let's try this again, shall we? Oops. You know, I was afraid this would happen. Where's my browser? Hey, there we go. We got it. Is that a new shirt? Yes, this is a shirt that I got from Santa this year. So I try to get my tub as hot as a hot tub. Man, that'd be tough. Yeah, so hello Twitch fam. So I am, you had it right. So I am Jake Shuffle. And I have a couple of friends that have been talking to me. I'm trying to move my camera so I can. I've had a couple of friends that have been interested in. There we go. I got a couple of friends that have told me over the years that they're kind of interested in playing Dungeons and Dragons, but they don't know how to start. They don't know, what you don't know, and that makes it sort of difficult. So my hope is that at the end of the stream, that you will be confident enough to either make your own group and run it as a dungeon master, or find a group and be like, hey, we should do some playing, and then just finding a dungeon master along the way. So that's kind of how it happened for me. I did not want to, let's see, how do I say this? I've always been wanting to play DnD, but it's just never worked out because I got scared of the time commitments. I got scared of how much information there was to know about it. And I just didn't think it was as accessible of a game as it actually is. So something that's been fun. So Dungeons and Dragons just turned 50 this year. So happy birthday, DnD. It is now over the hill. And with that, that means that there is an awful lot of information out there. There's 50 years worth of nerds just same. And maybe you saw Stranger Things and thought that Dungeons and Dragons looked kind of cool because the kids in it were having so much fun. And I appreciate everyone on the body positivity. We can be, yeah. Since my moaning clip, goddamn. I did turn blurps off just for the part where we're going to be talking about D&D and stuff, just to help me focus more so. It's super fun trying to teach about something while having my brainwaves interrupted every once in a while. So, all right, let me bring up my little. I have a document. Hey, what's up, Heathy? You haven't missed anything. You only missed my little intro spiel. So, so kind of some of the basics overviews that I want to go over today. I hope you're doing well, Heathy. Long time no see. So something I want to go over is what is Dungeons and Dragons. I'll be saying D&D instead of Dungeons and Dragons a lot. What do you need for D&D? The rule of fun. Some ways to learn how to play, and then some of the free resources that they have out there so that you guys can feel comfortable learning more on your own, hopefully. So, and how I want to format this is if you guys have questions, please type them out in the chat, and then I am going to copy and then make a list of questions so that way I can answer questions in blocks at a time. So feel free, but if you have a question that's not even related to the specific topic of D&D that we're talking about, please put it in there, and then I can add it to the list and we can talk about it. Yeah, there is one of the oldest drawings of a woman in a cave has a healthy pouch on her. I'll say that. So, um, I'm here, but not here at the moment. I have to watch the beginning of the VOD later. I got you, man. Oh gosh. So, and Olivia, feel free to chime in with any info if I misspeak or anything. So, full disclosure, I've been playing for about a year. I am by no means a D&D pro. I've only played as a character twice or three times. And I've mainly been a dungeon master for our little group. It was sort of just born out of necessity. I appreciate that you think I know enough to correct you. Hey, listen, you are fantastic at dungeon mastering, so I'm gonna lean on you as a resource because, yeah, no pressure. So, what is Dungeons and Dragons? I am Groot. So what do we? So what are we able to do with this tree? I am Groot. So D&D is a tabletop role playing game. Basically, you sit down at well, now it can be a digital table, but you sit down at a physical table. You have some information about your character that you made, and which we'll be going over this stuff too. You sit down at a table with some pencil and paper and your imagination, and you can play Dungeons and Dragons. That's all you need. Now, it is helpful to have. Is there a way to see whose raid I came in with? Driving me nuts. It might have been that one. Might have been from Warlock. Actually, I'm not sure, Chrissy. Yeah. So you're gonna want dice. Yeah, the physical dice are going to be a necessity. You can use digital ones, but it's just not nearly as satisfying. So actually I don't have any here with me. But we'll go over the dice and some of that other stuff. Let's see, where'd my notes go? So when playing D&D, it's a tabletop game where a group of players cooperate, or sometimes don't cooperate, to complete a story implemented by a dungeon master. The story does not have to be made by the dungeon master. There are plenty of stories out there, plenty of resources, and right now I actually have the D&D Beyond website pulled up. I wonder if I can zoom in a little bit, just so it's like you guys can read it too. Cooperation is very much optional, apparently. Yes, as Olivia and I have learned. So, D&D. dndbeyond.com. Hopefully that actually takes you to the right website. Good. Maybe I shouldn't have. So that is a free resource available for. Now there's also paid options, as you can see, because they absolutely love making their money. D&D is owned by Wizards of the Coast. So something I want to look over is the resources that are free on the website. I also want to make a couple of characters with folks here just to show you what those menus look like. And I'm going to be saying it over and over again, but the number one rule of D&D is to make sure that you're having fun. If you're not having fun, then the entire point of the game has gone out the window. There are tons of rules. For this particular 101 learning session, we're going to be talking about the 5th edition rules of D&D. Like I said, D&D has been out for 50 years now, so they have changed the rule sets. You don't even have to play on 5th edition. You could play on 3rd edition if you so want. It's really all up to you. Hey, Piku, how you doing? Friendly reminder then, if you have questions, please put them in the chat, and I will copy and paste them into a questions list. And please feel free to call me out. And please feel free to call me out if I don't see your question. I'm not trying to miss anything. So I promise what's funny is the hardest thing about Dungeons and Dragons so far is the scheduling. The rest of it, not bad. Scheduling with people, it's just difficult. We're all busy. We all lead lives. Sometimes we don't want to be playing every 2 weeks on our schedule. We take some time off, or we play 2 weekends in a row just because that's what we're feeling. So, Piku, you arrive precisely when you mean to. It's okay. The Sunday mornings at the card shop work there. The D&D group that came in every week. Oh, I love. It's so funny. You can smell when the D&D group is at the card shop. So there are tons and tons of free resources out there. There's even resources on. So I'll show you. So there is a campaign that I have called Candlekeep Mysteries. So when this is a resource that I did buy on D&D Beyond, so this is not a free one. This is a pre-made campaign though, and it works pretty well. So here is an example of a map that comes with the book that I downloaded. Now, there's not a whole lot of detail there. You know, it's just a regular drawn map. Now, the free resources that are out there are so freaking many that, gosh, I don't even... How is this going to work with me doing my browser now I'm thinking about it? I was just wondering if I should have been sharing my screen instead of browser. Oh, perfect. So you can look up player-made maps, and players will have recreations of maps, and they'll have full color. And people absolutely love sharing all these resources. D&D is fantastic. The community is great. I've asked questions on the Dungeon Masters subreddit on Reddit, which has worked out pretty well. Hey, what's up, Rogue? Yeah, so like I said, plenty of resources. If I show you a resource that is a paid one, I can guarantee you there's something out there that's a free version of it. Maybe not explicitly the same, but it'll be explained by a player. So, okay, let's see. So there are a ton of pre-made stories out there, and a lot of people are creative and want to exercise that creativity in making their own story. You can do that. I have opted not to because that's not where my creativity kind of gets lended to. So I have been working off of some player-made campaigns. Now, there's also... Sorry, I'm just looking at... Turn to page 394. There's also... when I talk about time commitments, there are different lengths of campaigns. Sometimes there are ones that will take multiple years, like the one that I'm doing with my main group. And then sometimes there's one that could only just take one afternoon. The players really are the ones driving the story progression, so sometimes you just have a faster group, sometimes you just have a group that takes... Length of playtime varies greatly. Something that's been important for me has been creating cutoffs after about 3 to 4 hours of play, because that's really all our group is able to handle. We don't... I say we. I'm going to speak from the I do not have the attention span to stay focused on something for longer than 3 to 4 hours at one time. It's just too much. Even though I'm having a blast at it, it's just tough for me. All of the one afternoon games have not lasted one afternoon so far for myself either. However, I'm new here. What do you normally stream? However, as the dungeon master, you're able to kind of manipulate things how you see fit. So I'll explain how that works a little bit later on. Okay, so let's see. I've already mentioned it before, but I'm going to mention it again. The number one rule of play is the rule of fun. If you're not having fun, then we can change something about that. So, and I mentioned that the hardest part has been just getting people together on a schedule. Yes, sometimes people want to plant magic beans underneath Christmas trees, and the Christmas tree comes alive and kind of messes up things for people. Rule 1, no, Rule 1 is not the same as Fight Club, no. So the main story is moved forward by players' actions. However, as the dungeon master, it's kind of important to take an understanding of your group's abilities and kind of help them along. So, all right. There's gonna be two other. So I've talked about the acronym DnD, which is Dungeons and Dragons. There's the DM, which is the Dungeon Master. And it's not the game. Sometimes people think it's the players playing against the Dungeon Master. That's not the case. So we're talking about D&D, my homie. So your characters don't have to be playing against the Dungeon Master, and I'm a big fan of actually playing with the characters as a DM. And when I say with, I don't mean like giving them freebies or helping them out or bringing in oh so the way that I like to play is kind of not necessarily helping the players, but I do play with them because one, I'm friends with them anyways, and it makes it a lot more fun. What's there's some fuck your stream. What's up? Oh. So it's not like, I don't know, it's not in the same sense as games nowadays where you have like two teams. It's not two teams. It's just people playing along a story essentially. Let's see, what was the other? Oh, so there are two more acronyms I'm going to say a lot. There's AC, which is armor class, and then yes, DM and GM is the dungeon master and game master. NPC are non-playable characters, which sounds pretty familiar if you play some video games. The NPCs are controlled by the dungeon master. So when the players walk into a tavern and there's an NPC who's running the tavern, when the players are talking to the tavern owner, they're talking to the dungeon master. So there's the armor class, and then there's a DC, which is a difficulty check. Armor class, D&D, the DM, GM, NPC, and DC difficulty checks. These are going to be really, really important acronyms. I'll be saying difficulty check and armor class. I'll be trying to actually enunciate that instead of saying AC or DC. In this instance, they do not stand for alternating or direct current. These are armor class or difficulty checks. If we were talking about electricity, then all bets are off. Something else that I want to try and copy and paste into chat here. We'll see if it works. I run the tavern. An electrical character? Yeah, that would be kind of fun. So here are this actually, you know what? I might just pin that message. I'm gonna pin it. Okay, so this message that I just sent about the skills, strength, dexterity, and that stuff, we will be going over that, but I'm just putting it in the chat for you guys to reference when I start talking about them. Armor class and difficulty check. Perfect. All right, so now my next little notes section. I do enjoy public speaking, but I've always enjoyed it in more of an informal format and like a back and forth type thing. Because I think that's actually Wiggler. I put myself in as a tavern master. I named him Alan Alith, and I actually play him like how, yeah, it's, yeah, I play him how I would talk. All right. So you want to play D&D. How do you actually like get started playing D&D? So I mentioned here we have D&D Beyond as the website. It's a really, really useful website. However, if you're doing it for free, I think they let you have maybe 2 character sheets or up to 4 character sheets, something like that. So it's really great for a free resource until you figure out things that you actually do want. Okay. There is also another website called Roll20. Have no PC. I can't play it. That's the beauty about it being a tabletop game, Wiggler. They also do have an app on your phone too. Thank you for that, Olivia. That's a good call out. Okay. Let me see if I can show this. Yeah, the app kind of sucks, but it's the app is extremely, extremely useful though, Wiggler. It will be able to do everything that you want it to. So I have on my app, I don't know how well you guys can see this, to be honest. So I have a couple of characters, and at the bottom it says like characters, campaign, and some other stuff. So it'll let you roll virtual dice, and it'll get you all of the basics. Yep, get you all of the basics that you would need. There's also probably Dungeons and Dragons resources and libraries. I would be I will go over a couple of those, Wiggler. I'm going to be writing people's questions map on the app or to answer your question, no, you do not play directly on the app. I will go more in depth on that later though. So there are two ways to play this game, to play Dungeons and Dragons. You can play either in person at a table, or you can play online now, which is also a nice resource. Olivia, I will let you know. I was wondering why you were online, and I forgot about I was like, it's Friday. What, she just went to a movie? What? So Roll20, I am not very familiar with. However, from like a personal, I haven't used this myself. I think I have a thing. I do. So, like I was mentioning, there are two ways to actually play D&D, either in person or online. The online resources are extremely helpful these days. You basically will be able to recreate your tabletop in-person experience online. It does come with caveats of, technology is great when it works. Dragon D's. Do you like Imagine Dragons, Wiggler? Can you imagine Dragons D's nuts on your face? And then another D&D Beyond has also added their own. Oh, this is from Baldur's Gate 3, by the way, the song. D&D Beyond has also added their own way to play on the website, which is where. Yeah. No map selected. Woo! Let's not do that one. Okay. So here's just an example of the map when I'm using the website. One thing that's kind of fun. So one difficulty behind the river. One tough part is Fog of War. When you're in the thing, when you're actually in a game, you can't see everything, right? Like you can't see around corners normally or things like that. So you can still control that with the game and everything, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself, I think. So there's two ways to play, either in person or online. Sorry. Dang. We right now, my group plays in person. We just had was there around 8 of us, I think, that kind of wanted to play or were interested in playing. But like I said, it is awfully nice that they have online resources for this now. So there's the D&D Beyond or D&D Beyond or Roll20.com are both pretty good resources for this stuff. And something you do want to get comfortable with is possibly being a dungeon master for your group. Now, it's intimidating. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun. You can, if you want to be a player, you, I think, need a bit more understanding of the strategy of the game. And by need, I mean you'll end up getting it, but the players try and progress the game, and the DM allows for progression to happen, essentially. Yes, we will talk about, we can talk about in-game actions, yeah, just about. Just about, yes. Just toss those dice. Make sure to ask your dungeon master first, though. Okay. Now, how many people do you need to play D&D? That's a great question. You need a dungeon master and at least one player. That's it. You can change things up however you see fit. Let's see. I, for example, have a... Whoops, I don't want to do that. Let me bring up a example here. The joys of interdimensional space. So on this map, we're in a mansion, and let's say it requires, this one requires 2 to 4 players, but you only have 1 player. Everything you see here, you can modify yourself. Even though these are all words and rules and everything, like the Swarm of Animated Books, it says it has 22 hit points. But if you're supposed to have 4 players and you only have 2, why not just half the hit points then? You can modify everything. The number 1 rule is what? The rule of fun. You can modify the game however you see fit so that you and your group have fun. And I promise it will turn out much better than you expect. You can change how difficult things are. Like if it says in this one instance that there's going to be 4 bad guys, but you don't have as many players as you thought you would that week. Cut out 2 of the bad guys then. Just only have 2 of the bad guys be there for that time then. So person gets to be 1 player in a 2-person D&D campaign, right? Okay. So the important thing is just finding a couple of people that, and this is, I'm speaking from as a person who wants to play but hasn't played yet. The most important thing is finding a couple of people and then setting a schedule. Those are the hardest things about the game. I promise. The game is actually relatively easy to pick up. Okay, so my let's see, my experience as a player, it's a lot of fun. I wish I did some more reading as to in depth on the actual abilities and stuff like that. But my time as a dungeon master, it's been a lot of fun. It does take a lot of work. I'm not gonna beat around that bush. It does take a lot of work, but it's always worth it. Let's see, how do I phrase this? As the dungeon master, you can plan as much as you want, and it doesn't mean fuck all. The group is going to do what the group was going to do, and you just kind of literally roll with it. You see whatever the dice have to say about it, and if you pass some skill checks or some difficulty checks, some DCs, you never know what can happen. So, for example, I was supposed to have a nice, fun bad guy during my last session with the group, right? And I did a little manipulation, just kind of made it our own and stuff like that. And what does the druid in the group do? She goes and messes with my plans, and things all go sideways from there. And then, the long story short, the group burned my boat down. They burned down my boat. My boat, gang. And they stole the turkey. It was absolutely amazing. It was some of the most fun that I've had as a dungeon master, I think, so far since playing. Yeah, it was too good. All right. The only thing set in stone in Dungeons and Dragons is probably a mystical sword. So everything else can be manipulated and changed around. Oh man, so here's a fun part. Let's see. I'm actually going to use the restroom real quick before I talk about... We're going to go on to the next topic real quick before we talk about the game so much. We're going to talk about role-playing and what the fuck it actually means. How does it work? How does role-playing work? Why does it sound so intimidating? Is it difficult? The answer is no, it's not difficult, but we will talk about that more in about 45 seconds. Wow, I still managed to get scared while I was... Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate you. I kept my headset on while I was peeing and I got scared. Alright. Let's see. Role-playing. Oh yes. The fun part. This is really hard to explain, and bear with me, so we're just gonna give it a shot. Elf Song Tavern. Olivia, this will look familiar. All right. So we have here a tavern. So the running joke, and it's not even really a joke because it's so true. A good adventure always starts in a tavern. That's sort of just how the way things go. It's a good spot to start off with some role playing and learning of those things. Dude, I know that place. Let's see if I can, like, I look so whitewashed right here because, yeah. No, I'm just gonna look, I just look really white. That's okay. I'll mess with that stuff later. It's fine. Doesn't help that the background is super, yeah. I mean, a clown who kills people, like, with exploding balloons. Yeah, I could think of a way to make that work, actually, Wiggler. Yeah. It'd be difficult, but... I'm gonna add that to a question, actually. You could even name him like Quarterwise or something if you wanted, you know? Yeah, that's what I was wondering, to change the... Yeah, it's just because this one screen is super white and bright. So every good story starts in a tavern. And here we have... Oop, that's Candlekeep. Here we have a lovely little tavern, which will let me... Where's the entrance? So the first floor is here on the left. And I promise this will all be relevant. You have the first floor on the left, and it looks like you come straight in, and right here is the, oops, I can't actually do it. Ooh. Easy there. So right in, it looks like here is the bar counter. You have some tables. You have some stairs that go upstairs to over here. Looks like you have a wasn't there a washroom? One of these was a washroom. Here is a nice big table for gathering as a group. So whenever you've seen a movie, and this is all relevant to the topic of role playing in the game. Whenever you see a movie, but changing the light to warm tone would be an easy adjustment. Yeah, where is it just my camera changed to warm? Oh, my actual light? Oh, uh, ooh, wow, that's rough. Oh, that works. There we go. So what would you do whenever you see a fantasy movie? What is one of the first things that they'll do when they walk into a tavern? What's something that oh, there it is. Here it was, yeah. That's a little bit better. I'm a little red, but that's okay. So you walk into a tavern, and what's something that you want to do? Maybe go and talk to the owner behind the bar. So what the dungeon master will do when your group walks into this tavern is they'll give a brief description of things that you'll see. Maybe say like what one of the people that you see, or some of the character of the NPCs, the non-player characters, some of those that you see. Um, sorry, what did I miss, Olivia? Oh, there's Alan Aelith. He's the bar owner. Streams their campaigns when one plays a clown like that. Oh yeah. I'm not. What's in the Discord? That's. Oh no, that's. I appreciate it, Olivia. That's okay. As I thought I missed some. Never mind. We're good. So the dungeon master will be role playing as the non-player characters, and when our group, I appreciate it though, Olivia. Thank you. When our group walked in, I described what the room looked like, and I said, "Hey, there's a gentleman behind the bar, which was like behind this bar here, the front. There's a gentleman behind the bar. He looks like the bar owner. This tavern is the Elf Song Tavern. It's been owned and operated by a half elf named Alan Aelith for over 100 years." And then you kind of describe what the tavern is like, what the environment's like. No buttercup or prize. You wanted redemption, didn't you? So I would describe kind of the mood. Like this is just a regular tavern. There's some gruff people, but there's probably a game of dice going on at one of the tables. It's probably relatively loud. So your character walks in, and let's say I'm just playing as a warrior. Good old warrior with a sword and shield, sword and board. I'm trying to think of how I want to roleplay the situation of when I'm walking into a tavern. Now my character is just gonna be kind of gruff and maybe a little abrasive. So I would walk up and, maybe along the way, let's say my character is walking up to the bar right now. Maybe walking along the way, I just nudge one of the tavern patrons off to the side, and this is me role playing right now. I nudge one of the tavern patrons off to the side as I make my way to the bar and slam my fist on my mailed fist on the counter. Barkeep, I need information. So my character's been trying to find somebody in this city. He comes in gruff and abrasive, and I'm trying to get some information from the barkeep. Now, does the barkeep respond, nicely to a guy coming into his tavern and being like that? Probably not. So there'd be some interactions. So, and depending on whatever your character does, that's how the situation will progress. Maybe you just needed to find information. That was the whole goal of going into this tavern, was finding information. You could end up in a fight. You could end up dead. Your character could die because you don't totally know the situation in this tavern. Some other funny business could go on. You don't really know. That's the whole fun of it. So if my character right now is kind of gruff, aggressive, probably usually looking for a fight. Fighting is probably how I get a lot of my stuff done as that character. There could be someone else that comes in and they want to use persuasion. They want to try and talk their way out of things. So let's say Olivia comes up behind my character and talks to the barkeep. She just goes, "Excuse my gruff," and I need to find another word other than abrasive. But excuse my gruff friend here. He didn't really mean harm. It's that we're seeking out a murderer, and we really, really want to bring him to justice. So then I would respond as I'm the dungeon master and be like, "Oh, well, if it's information you find, you might want to bring yourself to the table over there." And then direct the characters. So that's where I'm kind of directing the characters and helping them figure out where to go for what they need to help the story move along a little bit. So that's just a little example of the role playing. Really, it's all up to you. It's however you want your character to be, however you imagine them to be playing and interacting with their environment. Go for it. I mean, try not to be a douchebag about it. Like, no need to ruin the game for everybody else type thing. I don't suggest being a murder hobo, just going around trying to walk up and murder everybody. That takes away the fun. I walk up and say, "He doesn't like you. My friend doesn't like you much either." But yeah, that's just walk up and saying and talking to the NPCs, and it gets more organic as you do it. Kind of just like how me talking to the camera here gets more organic the more I do it. So don't feel like you have to have the best interaction of your life with this NPC character or whatever. Some people will die. Your character might even die. We can actually go over that, what happens when your character dies, too. Hey there, handsome. I need some information, and the strongest drink 5 silver will get me. Yes, and that's... So then the Dungeon Master will say, all right, here's how we're going to roleplay the situation and flesh it out. Yeah. So that is just a quick example of role-playing and how that works. I'm just switching it to another screen so I don't look so pasty. Okay, so let's say, what is the number one rule? Rule of fun, right? Keep that in mind, as always, whenever you're playing the game. Let's say you've actually kind of got a couple of people who are interested in playing, you're getting a group together, you've decided the roles of who wants to play as a dungeon master, who wants to play as a player. Now, granted, I will also say that being a player has its own responsibilities and does take some work as well. It's not just you don't just join in and start playing like a video game. It's not a single player game. It's a in-person, usually multiplayer game. Except the paste. Nothing wrong with marshmallow people. Oh, goodness. Man. All right, let's see. Okay, so I want to go over the... Oh, my pinned message is no longer pinned. That's too bad. So I'm going to go over just a couple of examples for the skill points first. Under characters, because this will explain things, I think, a little bit better from a character creation standpoint. The next part we're going to start doing is we're going to make a couple of characters, and we're going to just have some fun with it. So right here, Can I make Heathy my wife? Yeah, you can always try. You can always try. Let's see. So here's an example of a character I made. His name is Frank from accounting. Congratulations. Yeah. Please give a warm congrats to Heathy and Chrissy. Gonna have to roll those dice. Which, speaking of, I just, as a heads up, have like 10 minutes before I need to run some ads, but we should be good. I'm just gonna grab my dice. It's not like I ever have them all that far from me anyways. All right. So I mentioned earlier that you're going to want some dice, and I'm just going to give an example of what they look like. There's going to be, was it 7 of them? Where's my dice? Torch's kids put an electrical cap in my... Torch's kids also put a broken up crayon in the back pocket of one of my pants, and I didn't notice until I was doing laundry. I just, like, I pull out just bits of crayon, I'm like, what the hell? Oh. Okay. So I have, yeah, it's 7 dice. Thought I was going crazy there. So I have 7 dice, and there is the most infamous one, the D20. Let's see if I can... you have a one that's also a D4. Now this one I like to call the Foot Destroyer because you find it on the floor very quickly with the bottom of your foot. Let's see, there's your classic D6, like for regular die games and stuff like that. You don't have dice in the bathtub? That's okay. Laundry surprises. Yeah. I was cracking up because like it was his second youngest, and she was being super sneaky about it too. Oh yeah, good idea. Actually, can I do one right from here? I'm just gonna move me out of the way though. So this is something that's nice about the online resources is that they have digital dice. So I can actually just roll a D20 right here. And I rolled, and I rolled a 10. Ugh, yeah. Okay. So the next part that I want to go over before we do character creation is I want you just to focus only on this top part where it says strength, dexterity. Dang it. There we go. Where it says strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. These are your main character stats. They probably sound relatively familiar if you've played role-playing games before. Okay, I'm gonna paste this, pin this in chat again. For about, yeah, let's pin that for 20 minutes. Okay, so these are some, you know, not missing. Fall flat in your face. Roll D20. Roll for persuasion. Yes. 7. Oof. Yeah. Okay. So the first and foremost attribute is strength. Strength is, can you crush a tomato? It's, you know, how strong you are, how much force you have with your muscles, whatever, you know. So Frank from accounting, he's a barbarian. He doesn't like numbers. Numbers make him very angry. This was just sort of my role-playing parts with it. It's okay, I'm used to it. Which Jake will go over. So then you have, next you have dexterity. Can you dodge a tomato that's being thrown at you? Dexterity helps in certain actions in the game, these attributes will also affect how your character is able to interact in the world of Dungeons and Dragons that has been made for it. So, intelligence. Do you know that the tomato is a fruit? So, excuse me, sorry. Oh, I have these out of order. Intelligence is, yeah. Do you know that a tomato is a fruit? Example of intelligence. So, classes that use spells will more likely need intelligence. Now, Frank from accounting, he's a barbarian. I didn't care about intelligence too much, and I'll also go over how you get to these numbers in the character creation. Hey, Jake, wanna be my wife? You gotta roll a d20, Chrissy. I could dodge a tomato. See, so Biscuits would have pretty high dexterity then if he can dodge a tomato. Let me roll for it. Can't dodge this. Man, sorry, Biscuits, we were talking about your emote in Feed the Tall Boys stream. Just it's so good. I'm so glad I got approved. Okay, wisdom. Wisdom, do you know it probably shouldn't be put in a fruit salad? Do you know that tomato probably shouldn't be put in a fruit salad though? Wisdom is important for, I believe, warlocks. And wisdom also changes how you interact with the world too. And cast ceremony. 17. Oh, jeez. Chrissy, we gotta redo our taxes now. Charisma. Can you sell a tomato-based fruit salad though? Charisma is going to be how you interact with their characters in the Dungeons and Dragons world that you were put in. Jason Cage, congrats. Oh, goodness. You guys crack me up. Constitution is this one. Constitution, can you eat a disgusting rotten tomato without getting sick? Your constitution is your character's health. So that's your health pool. Your health is important on every character, so depends on how important you want to make it on your character, but still. Okay, let's see. I covered playing in person versus online, being a player versus a dungeon master. Nothing set in stone. Role playing, cool. Let's see. I'm gonna go over a couple of the questions. So Commander Wiggler had his first one with, do you play Dungeons and Dragons on the D&D Beyond app? You don't play on the app itself, you use the app while you're playing. So this whole screen right here with my character sheet, this would be on your phone. And your phone would also have options for you to roll dice. So let's say your character needs to do something in relation to its strength. I can just click on the strength or tap on the strength on the phone, and the app/website will roll a die for me. Now, don't worry about the bonuses yet. We'll talk about those. He sweeps Jake off his feet. New dungeon, mommy, damn. Let's see. Wiggler's other question: can I play as a clown that uses balloons to kill people? Yes. Yeah, you totally could. Now, whether or not that's allowed by your dungeon master, I don't know. Biz, that's a great question. Hey, what's up, Art Dad? Biz, that's a great question. We can look into that one together. Yep. They, yes, there's also, so this whole sheet, you can print that out and bring it yourself. They also have I can just look at these probably. Okay. So this is what you would be printing out. So it has spots for your attributes, which we just went over. So strength, Can't read that. Dexterity. Oh no. Yeah, that's not good. And then it has some of your other details, which we'll go over. Thank you, Olivia. Man, as far as finding a group online, there are forums for doing that, I know. I think it's somewhat difficult to find a fresh group online. I think it would be easier. Let's say, Biz, let's say you and maybe two other people had an idea to put a group together and you wanted to find another person. Reddit is probably an okay resource. I'm hesitant about Reddit just because it's Reddit, like, I don't know, it's hit or miss from what I've seen. Let's see. There's also D&D Beyond does also have forums you could post in the D&D Beyond website. One great resource that I would suggest would be looking up where your local D&D groups actually might hang out, which would be at card shops probably. So card shops being like where they sell Magic the Gathering cards, they'll probably have Warhammer 40K stuff. They will also usually host Dungeons and Dragons groups, like so that they have a physical space to meet and play. I would try and find the card shops first. That would be my main resource of finding like a fresh new group. Then I would try online, either on D&D Beyond's forums. Does Roll20 have forums? Roll20 also has forums. Those are both good resources. And then Reddit would be a third one. That's an excellent question, though. Thank you. I didn't think about that one. So Wigglers, so can you play as a clown that uses balloons to kill people? Yeah, you totally can. Now you would have to figure out how the balloons are going to be killing people. I mean, are you strapping dynamite to them? Things like that. But as far as role playing, playing as a clown would be interesting. Now that might have consequences in the story. The dungeon master might write in something like, "Oh, this person is actually deathly afraid of clowns and will attack anyone that looks like a clown on sight." It makes for some fun role playing and kind of mixes things up. I would say something out of left field as a clown with deadly balloons. I would always run by your dungeon master first, so you don't get too invested before, possibly being told, no, that's not along the possible world that they're building. So there's, how do I want to say this? There are sometimes things that would just not be appropriate in a setting. So like, let's say we're playing a medieval setting like Lord of the Rings. Let's say we're playing a game that's set like Lord of the Rings, where there's elves, dwarves, magic, hobbits. And someone comes to the table and they say that they want to play as a God, what are the robots from they want to play as a Terminator 3000. Now it's a fun idea. It sounds like a lot of fun, but for that setting, it just doesn't make any sense. Shit, I need to run some ads. So it doesn't make sense. So I would always talk to your dungeon master to make sure things would be kosher on that front. You be shouting people out on my channel? So Art Dad is also doing a pretty cool thing where he is going to be drawing pictures of top gifters. Earlier,
but you recover life down here.
Oh, good, I got it.
Holy shit. Did that say 10K? Good God.
Good God, I love that. So Art Dad, yes, this would be similar to Baldur's Gate, but played in real life. The campaign I'm actually running with my friends right now is the prequel to Baldur's Gate 3. So it's kind of why I'm trying to finish that before playing. Be a nude, looking for a group to hold my hand. Okay, I'm gonna run a couple of ads to get those out of the way because it's yelling at me. Yeah, I will my Texan ass, I love it, dude. Oops. All right. I will be back in a couple of minutes here. Mostly just gonna make sure he's restroom, all that jazz. So man, this is a lot of fun. I thought we would already be like done by now, but we're not. We're making good headway though. I like this, guys. It's fun, isn't it? Really? Okay. Yeah, I love you, Olivia. That's such a good point about us being more flexible. Yeah. Yeah, having Richard helps immensely though. Oh, how I feel? Oh goodness. Yeah. I'm gonna be spending tomorrow finalizing my trip plans here. It seems like so it's gonna be fun. Dallas boys have man, the boys have had a rough season. More pink. Yeah, this is like the film grain version, whatever. All right. Okay, so we're back. Welcome back, fam. Says ads are over. Let's see. Biscuits, to address your question about so stressed about playing with a new group or a new group teaching you. That's exactly how I'll say that kept me from you blushing. I'll say that that's what kept me from playing for the longest time. I thought that with Dungeons and Dragons, because of how much information there is out there, I thought that I would have to go into it already knowing how to play. I thought I would have to go into it like already being a great dungeon master and stuff like that. None of that's the case. So for the group that we have, as Olivia mentioned, all of us except for one person are completely new. And while it does really, really help to have the guy who has played for years, it's it's not necessary for everyone to know all the rules. Now, it helps from the fact of like when we're trying to do combat and stuff like that, and things pop up that we aren't necessarily aware of, but our one guy is because he's played a lot. That does really help. But so gang, what have I said the number one rule in D&D is? The rule of fun. All the other rules can be stretched or broken. You can do whatever you want with the other rules, as long as the rule of fun is being applied. So, Biscuits, I know that you could do it. I actually think you'd make a really great dungeon master, especially with how you're able to kind of narrate stuff. No pressure, just, I think you would be pretty good at it, and I think you'd probably enjoy it too. Okay. Let's see. All right. That is a really great question, though, and I will say I wish I didn't let the game intimidate me for as long as it did. It's a lot of fun. I did mention earlier, it does take work. It's not a, like just even myself prepping for this stream. Spent some time doing that, trying to make sure I wasn't going to be conveying shitty information to everybody. Is this a... Oh, wow, this is really good. I thought this was like an iteration of Halo music for a second. Yeah, it's... Well, you don't have to be able to do every single voice in the whole, thing. You can always just also do a couple of voices and just practice and have some fun with it, too. But I think you would be really enjoying the writing portion and fleshing out the characters. Jake does not stream D&D. He's thinking about it, but that's gonna take some doing. So let's see. So all right, so now that you have, let's say that you guys have a today's stream is probably going to be one of many. Yeah, most likely. First death by boob. Oh my god. Oh, that's what you meant. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right. So I want to bring up, this is one of the free resources on D&D Beyond. This is the Free Rules 2024. Oh, fudge. Which ones do I actually have? I want to look at the 2014 rules, actually. No, we can do 2024. It'd be fine. I've been playing off of the 2014 stuff, but these are both free. So we'll just walk through the D&D Free Rules 2024, and then we're going to make a couple of characters. Well, shit. Oh, man. Oh, Chrissy, did you come from... Was it not Art Dad stream? Did you come from God You Know stream? Okay, let's see. I don't know why that just made me think of that. Hey, what's up, Rapid? How you doing? Welcome to a chill D&D 101. Just kind of going over some basics for some folks that have been, I don't want to say bugging me, but they've been very very interested in wanting to learn some basics, so I just wanted to give them sort of a short introduction of the game. Welcome on in, glad you're here. If you have questions, and again, for everybody, if you have questions, please put them in chat, and I will be... Please put the questions in chat, and I will be copying them onto a sheet to answer questions at, like, in a bulk at a time, so... Oh, that's right. You guys don't really have basements. So we have our creepy basements up in Michigan. So something we've already talked about is if you want to be a player or do you want to be a dungeon master? I think, I don't know why I just thought this, but so the reason I thought that Biscuits would be a good dungeon master is I feel like he would probably do a pretty good job at making his own worlds and then making them one thing that's difficult for me and why I enjoy using pre-made material is I have a hard time creating an interest or an investment for the characters. Like there has to be a hook in a story, right? There's a hook. You don't just get two hobbits that find a ring and all of a sudden they're making their way to Mordor without a good reason. I don't know. Sigourney Weaver wound up in a ship with an alien, and that was pretty much the hook. Now, again, I want to reiterate this along with the rule of fun. Playing Dungeons and Dragons is not the players versus the dungeon master. It's not that. It's more the players and dungeon master playing a story together. So the dungeon master sort of just helps the story move along. Tell them guys all level 9 spell descriptions. Yeah. Yeah, that is an especially important detail, Raven. Oh man. Let's see. Oh, that was so good. I can't believe I had to get up from that clip. That was great. Let's see. So I sort of mentioned this stuff a little bit, the rhythm of play, when we were talking about going into the tavern. So the characters will enter a scene. Think of this like a play, right? The characters enter the stage, there's a backdrop, and the narrator describes to the audience what's going on, the sort of gist of things. So I was talking to the players and describing the tavern. I was saying you walk in, I'm describing a scene. You walk in, you smell fresh food, fresh meat pies. You smell some stale ale in the air. Already got it once. And then you hear dice games going on in the corners, and you see the who looks to be possibly the bar owner standing behind the bar serving ale, whatever. The characters say what they want to go and do. So my character in that instance, I was gruffly walking up to the bar and just saying that I wanted information. So I kind of talked about what I was doing and how I was doing it. The how I was doing it is important because that lets everyone else know how to interact with you as well. It will feel really awkward at first, I guarantee it, because I don't know. I don't really describe my everyday actions. Like when I went up to pee, I didn't like announce myself as I was in the bathroom, like I'm going to unzip my pants now and then do whatever. So it's just not a natural thing to do, but if you treat it like a play, I think that makes it make more sense in my head for that anyways. Let's see. Quit touching yourself. Quit touching yourself. So then I would narrate the results of the adventurer's actions. So the character was gruffly asking for ale. Let's say they were trying to intimidate the bar owner for information. I would then be asking. I wish I could just do this faster. I would then be asking the character. I'd be asking Frank from accounting to roll me an intimidation check. Shit, I'm getting a phone call. Sorry. Thank you, gang, for your patience. Oy. Oh man, oh my goodness, somebody's Token's birthday today. Oh, hospital things about sandwiches. Playing D&D with our dad might be terrifying. Yeah, no, that sounds fair. Brains, good luck. Just need practice. Yep. Hey, what's up, Mortisynth? How you doing, man? Hey, sorry you came in while I was getting a phone call there. Stream doing, Jake? A few one shots, but never a full campaign. Nice, nice. Well, I haven't finished a full campaign. We're in the middle of one, but that's what AI is for. Or boobs are perkier than mine. He's doing a getting started stream for those. Yeah, thank you, Olivia. Appreciate that. Skyrim, welcome back, wifey. Glad to be back. Yeah, all right. Phew. Sorry. Phone call. Kind of important. So that will actually slide into me saying that I will not be around next Friday or Thursday. Sorry, Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday. I will not be streaming. So just a friendly heads up, gang. So yeah, more to synth. This is sort of just I got some friends that have been I don't want to say scared, but you know, D&D is an intimidating thing. There's so much out there. Yeah. So, oh, you're very welcome, Olivia. So this is sort of just a friendly reminder to people that D&D is not actually scary, even though it looks like it is. I'm scared. D&D, it's a lot. It's a lot because whenever you hear about it or watch stuff about it, you're watching people that have probably played a whole ton and they know what they're doing and they don't really make a whole lot of mistakes, it feels like. But I can guarantee you guys the most fun that comes from our sessions are whenever one of us messes up on something. Now that'll actually tie it into a question I wrote down that I thought would probably come up, but what happens when your character dies? So this was a big thing that I was not a fan of. I thought that when my character died in a D&D campaign, that was it. Like I was done in the campaign. That's not necessarily the case unless that's a specific rule, I guess, that the group is playing by. But let's say that the character that I was role-playing as earlier, the warrior that was gruff and trying to be intimidating, let's say he goes into that tavern, gets his butt kicked by the tavern owner so bad he gets tossed outside and he ends up dying in the street. Now, your character has died in a campaign. What do? There are some ways in the game to revive your character if that's how you want to go about it. I would try and actually talk to the dungeon master about that if you so are trying to come back with your character. If that's not doable, which is a thing, I mean, sometimes there's just not a, resurrection chapel nearby. Sometimes, like my character, he's Frank from accounting. If Frank died, maybe next session his cousin, I don't know, Tank from accounting, his cousin Tank. This is where my creativity ends. His cousin Tank shows up and somehow joins the group. If your character dies, talk with the DM, bring up a new character that's the same level as what you guys were probably playing with, level 3 character. Have an introduction, have a reason for why this new character would be a part of the group, why they would find themselves a part of the group. Just some things like that to kind of flesh it out. But just because your character dies, it's not the end of the game. So, let's just catch up on my stuff. Up. Character bio is a 7-foot tall orc with 6 boobs, all perky and solid as steel, with leather armor, muscular build, 2 dark red eyes, long braided black hair, and larger than a front head. I can't believe I read that out loud. In and out here? Yeah, that's what she said. Damn, Mortis. Nice. No, you're good. Hey, I appreciate you, man. You take care of yourself out there, okay? I'm gonna do a little. Mortison's a really chill dude, a lot of fun to hang out with. Also has some really great overlays.
Fucking A.
Those guys are always super fun to fight. Fucking A. Oh, man. That's 3 times you've said that about one of my comments, Jake. That is 3 times I've said that, isn't it? Oh, my lord. Really? Wow, they just feel like eggs of sand. I love that movie. It's so good. Hey, what's up, Survivalist? How you doing? Need my burger, though. I'll be back. All right, man. All right. Oh, goodness. This is why I love Twitch. Like, it's such a fun community. Yeah, burger sounds pretty good. I had some buffalo chicken mac and cheese, which was very agreeable with me. Let's see. What did I have next for my little... All right. And as I mentioned, so I'm going to say it again, the only rule that you need to follow is the rule of fun. Everything else can be, all the other rules are more like guidelines, actually. So, and let's see, what was the other thing I wanted to mention? And it's already gone in my head. That's okay. Oh, yes. Like the speed limit. It's only if the dungeon master catches you. No, if you have any questions, put them in chat. I will do my best to copy and paste them and put them into a little Word document so I can answer them all later. Ooh. Wendy's. I mean, I do like Wendy's burgers. I don't really feel super great afterwards eating them, but that's not the point, right? All right, so let's go through a little bit more of the thing here, ongoing game. Let's go through the dice. So I mentioned there are 7 main dice. Let's see. I haven't actually read this part. So there's the D4, 6, 8, 12, or 10, 12, and 20. So the D is just stands for die, and then the number is how many faces are on that die. So if the DM asks you to roll a D20, they want you to roll a die that has the 20 faces on it. That's all that means. Not too much though to let the one hand more power. Yeah, that water would get a little chilly. Okay, good. I do got 30 minutes until I gotta run some ads. So what are the dice actually used for? They can be used for a whole bunch of things. They are multi-tools, and you'll be using them for everything. So for instance, so the D20 is the most used, most important die in the game. It's easiest to use because the percent chances work out really, really well, and it'll make a lot more sense later on. The scale from 0 to 20 works out well with things where 0 to 5 being extremely easy, 5 to 10 being easy, 10 to 15 being difficult, 15 to 20 being extremely difficult, something like that. So you use die for damages. Let's see. Let me go back to Frank from accounting. So let's say, for instance, Frank, I have my... a minute, a little bit more. So with Frank, I have my great axe here, right? So you see this, it says 1d12. That means I would roll 1 die that has 12 sides on it. So roll 1 12-sided die, and I can come over here to my little thing, and I can find the particular die I want to roll. And I can just roll to everyone. When it says everyone, it's talking about like everyone in the campaign you're playing with, just so everyone on a computer can see it. So I rolled an 8. 8 out of 12 on that die. Ooh, that's it. Okay, random tables. So you can make random tables where in D&D it will ask you for. I'm gonna bring this up as another tab. So there's the magic beans, and these things are super fun. They're not. Is it just called beans? Bag of beans. Whatever, same thing. See, for next one, could do a firebot command where question automatically writes to a document. Oh, foolish! You're so smart. No, you're good. Yeah, that's probably a better Discord. No, I appreciate that. That's a good one. That's because you're in Psy, and that's the tasty. Oh, Callie, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Man, my I don't know. Yeah, I don't have in and out. That's not fair, but that's okay. I want to look up the magic beans. Okay, whatever, it's fine. So there's a item called Bag of Beans, and it has effects based on a table of 0 to 100. So what you would want to do is roll 2 d10 die. You roll 2 d10s. The first one would be... The first one would be for the first digit. So 3. The second one will be for the second digit. So like you rolled a 34 out of 100. Does that kind of make sense? So then on the table, it would probably have like, if you rolled 30 to 40, here's the list of effects that you can talk about. Olivia needs a snack. Why not Dwight? Let's see. Olivia, go get yourself a snacky poo. Let's see. We went over some of that stuff, some more of the die rolls. Notes we're going to find, simulate, and D3. Okay, so we talked about the 6 abilities: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Now just one more reiteration here. So strength is, can you crush a tomato? Dexterity, can you dodge a tomato being thrown at you? Constitution, can you eat a disgusting rotten tomato without getting sick or without losing any of your health? Intelligence, do you know that a tomato is a fruit? Wisdom, do you know that it probably shouldn't be put in a fruit salad? And then finally, charisma. Can you sell a tomato-based fruit salad? So charisma is just how confidently can you talk to people and charm people. Okay, now there are scores for your abilities. Now you can see on here, like, my total score for strength is 17. These are just total scores. Level, sorry, 20 is usually the highest it can go. Based on like a story, you don't naturally get above 20 unless there's some weird, I don't know. I'm sure whatever story could be accommodating for it. Under my hot God, are dead. Shut the front door. Yeah. Now, these abilities will also get modifiers. So this is where it gets dicey when choosing dicey. This is where it gets interesting when choosing your abilities for your character. So if you have lower than 10, you get negative modifiers. Above 10, you get positive ones. Okay, I don't really want to talk about that yet. Substantial bonuses, no. There are proficiencies, which we will talk about later. Ability modifiers, we just talked about. So ability checks. This is where I mentioned the Dungeon Master can say, oh, hey, Mama Bear, hey, appreciate you, happy Friday. Like, hey, appreciate you, take care of yourself, and thank you for the raid the other night. I appreciate you, Mama Bear. Hey, what's up, Pasty? Thank you. Man, let's see. So, I mentioned that your character will interact with the environment in Dungeons and Dragons, and there are requirements in order to be able to do so successfully or otherwise. Pasty, how was your rest of your stream there? And you have a long name.
Geistfield. Meter. You could have just kept it fully German. Geistfeld Meter.
They just kept it fully German.
Oh, do I look at her? I'm not looking. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
No way. Are you gonna survive this?
Maybe if I just open.
I'm not looking. I'm so sorry. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, you spelled your name right this time, Mama Bear.
Yes, I'm playing a game now, so change it. Change the scene, you silly, silly goblin. Quick, clip that. Ryan wants it.
Oh my goodness. The two of you are too fun. Okay, so your characters will want to be interacting with the environment, and the Dungeon Master will be the one to say whether it works or not. Hey, welcome back, Olivia. So let's say that Frank from accounting, with his strength, is trying to, let's say he's trying to lift the bar owner, Alan Alith. He's trying to lift Alan up in the air, to, you know, so he can, like, partially rough him up and intimidate him, right? So now, this could be a two-parter. So he wants to lift him up, which would be a strength check, and then intimidate, which would be a charisma check. Now, whenever I'm saying check, whenever I say check, that means that a die is going to be rolled. So let's see. So Frank first wants to lift up the tavern owner. And this is just me explaining ability checks real quick and when you actually use these. So Frank wants to lift the owner up, and that requires a strength check. Frank is going to roll a d20, and that was a really bad roll, too. So now, even with, I rolled a d20 and I got a 2. What I get to add is my modifier, which is +3. I'll explain like how you actually get to these modifiers. So I get the modifier of +3, and I think we just saw up here. So right now, Frank's strength is a 17. So on this scale, because it's 17, I'm getting a +3 as the modifier. So I rolled a total of 5 out of 20 to see if I can pick this guy up. Now, the Dungeon Master will have their difficulty checks, their DC, and the DM will then look at the 5 that was rolled and look at their difficulty check, which in this case would probably at least be something like a 10, maybe. We'll say that the tavern owner is not exceptionally big. He's, a half elf, probably pretty scrawny. Not super hard to pick up. The difficulty checks will be in 0, 5, 10, 15, or 20. 0 meaning you don't even have to try. 5, it's pretty easy to get past because, I rolled a 5 there. 5, pretty bad roll, so if it's pretty easy to get past the check, a 5 might be able to do it. 10's pretty normal. 15 would be kind of difficult. 20 is super difficult. And above 20, above 20 is usually you're not supposed to be able to open it. I think usually there's going to be a way to open it otherwise. talked about. Oh yeah, here's the. Well, I didn't have to just say it, but very easy, medium, hard, very hard, nearly impossible. Yeah, so I haven't myself run into ones lower than like 15 or 20. Excuse me. I haven't run into ones higher than 20 because we are not that far in our campaign, most likely. So all of this is coming from my experience of being a dungeon master for a year and a little change. You have all the difficulty checks at 2. Well, and that's the thing, our dad. If you want to make stuff easier for your players, you are more than welcome to. So all of these are just recommendations. If the campaign says that to unlock this door is a difficulty check of 15, and one of the players rolls a 14, and I could just say you passed the check, the door opened. I don't have to stick to the 15 being the set limit. If I want them and they got really excited and they were just so hell-bent on getting into this door, I can fudge the rules a little bit. That's okay. I am playing with the players to play the game. It's not, not DM versus the players. So all checks are now 200. You take it easy, Satan. Dang. Okay, so then they also have saving throws. Saving throws are to avoid something. Let's say your group is traveling in a sewer dungeon type thing. So it's kind of it's relatively cramped, it's close quarters, and there's a think of like Skyrim or some other game. So there's a trap. There's a switch on the floor that someone stepped on, and a trap has been sprung, and now the dungeon master gives the group a chance to possibly avoid the trap with a saving throw. Now, if you are trying to avoid a trap, like let's say I'm stepping on a trap right now, when I release my foot off it, arrows are going to shoot across the hallway, like in Indiana Jones or something like that. To avoid all of the arrows shooting by, that probably takes a lot of dexterity, a lot of speed. So I would need to roll a dexterity saving throw to be able to dodge out of the way of the arrows kind of shooting across the hall. So my character would come over to my screen and I would roll. So I have my dexterity, which is base is at 15. That base of 15 earns me a +2 for the modifier. I'm going to roll dexterity, and we'll say it's a relatively difficult check. I rolled an 18. You roll a d20, so you roll a die with 20 sides on it. Gives me an 18 plus the 2 of my modifier to give me a 20 total. And what did I say? I wanted this to be a medium one, so I had to roll a DC of 15, or I had to pass a DC, I had to pass a difficulty check of 15, which I rolled a 20, so I pass. So then the DM would then narrate and say, your character nimbly steps out of the way of the arrow traps. Net traps at Plymouth. Yes, I do. I hate those net traps. So you could say, then narrate that your character nimbly runs out of the way. I can't why that came to my mind. Strip club VIP section. Yeah, our dad, I don't know how your brain works, and I'm okay with not knowing. But I appreciate you for it all the same, my man. Oh gosh. Okay. I want to get into some of the fun part. Let's go, and we don't want to talk about some of this stuff. I want to talk about making a character. I think that's more fun anyways. We can talk about some of the other stuff, but making a character is really how you're going to get started on your adventure, be it into as a player or maybe even as a dungeon master. I would still recommend making a player. Marine Corps, baby, that'll do it. I would still recommend making some characters just to mess around with it. So there are free sheets, with the free account on DnD Beyond, you do get a couple of character sheets that you can use. Or you could also just physically write them down and keep making more of them if you so want. So I am going to do two things. Go use the restroom, and I'm going to run some ads so that we're not interrupted while we're doing this. And then I think after we make a character, that might be it for this little intro tonight. But I'm going to set this onto free rules, character classes. All right, so I want you guys to just think about some of these classes. And it's okay if you're not super familiar with them, but if you guys want to go through making a specific class just for fun, or some that one that you've heard about and you are kind of interested in, please put that in the chat, and I'm more than happy to go through a specific one when I get back from our quick little ad break here. So I appreciate everyone's patience, and more importantly, I appreciate everyone's time and company. Thank you guys. Remember, we're all in this together, and we're just taking things one day at a time, okay? Be back in a couple of minutes here. Please. I thought the bard was just a musician that boosts people's spirits. Ooh, man. Yeah, there's no Piku. No, bard is fun. Bards can kick some serious ass. All right. Okay, so some differences between the magic users. That's a good idea, Olivia. We can do that first before going through. So sorry, hang up. No, I want to delete, not unlock. All right. Oh, thank you, Chrissy. Thank you. All right. Yeah, let's go through the differences in the magic for 2024 one that I own? I didn't think so. Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard. Okay. I'm trying to look through. Okay. So you will have abilities that are called cantrips, not cantraps, cantrips, and spells. Now, how you get your spells back and how you use spells as a resource are different between the classes. So, let me explain. So in the game when you are playing, there are two ways to replenish your group from a health standpoint and to take a break, because your spells are not infinite. You do not have infinite resources. Those are mostly the two caveats. Now, there are two types of rests. There's a short rest and a long rest. Think of a short rest like taking a break inside a cave. You're just healing up a little bit, taking a short break, and carrying on. A long rest would be a full 8-hour rest at a tavern in a bed, I think. Okay, so when you get your expended magic back, changes. Now, when you're a warlock, you get all of your magic back when you finish a short or long rest. When you're a sorcerer, you get your stuff back from a long rest, but then you also have to make sure yeah, campsite, yep. Yeah, so long as it's a full night of a solid rest. Then there's also ways that you have your spells equipped. It's a little hard to explain, and I think I'm going to do that more in depth when talking about each of the classes. But some of the spells need to be prepared. So let me see. We'll just think of it like this way. When you're thinking of a sorcerer would be someone who has studied magic for a really long time. They probably got a lot of their ability from training and studying. So they need to have all of their stuff prepared. Their abilities are not from innate magic or things like that. So they have to have everything prepared ahead of time. And so each class will have their spellcasting ability, which charisma is for sorcerers. And let's see, warlocks also use, are they charisma? So each classes use different abilities. Yeah, a witch could also brew a potion to sometimes get you some stuff back or some spells back, probably yet. So each class will not only play differently, but they also utilize their resources differently. So if you're going to be a player, or a dungeon master, but specifically a player. Spell prep, like a witch brewing a potion to do. Oh, as in a part of the spell prep. Yeah, like it. Yeah, so a sorcerer prepping their spells would be like a witch brewing a potion before battle. Yep. So especially if you're a player, please read as much as you can about how your character plays. I will be fully honest. I lean on the players a little bit when they tell me what their character wants to do. I usually just trust them and knowing that that's, kind of something that their character is actually how they operate and things like that. Wizards always have to tell you where they went to school. Yeah, yep. Actually, now you mentioned, yeah, Wizard probably would have been a better one than a sorcerer as far as like the schooling. The closest a wizard is likely to come to an ordinary life as working as a sage or a lecturer. Other wizards sell their services as advisors, serve in military forces, or pursue lives of crime or dominion. So each class is different. The magic works in a little bit more complicated of a way, I think, than just regular hand-to-hand combat with weapons. So the classes range in, I don't want to say difficulty, but they range in complexity for sure in how they play. Frank is a barbarian. Frank goes in and Frank sees bad guy. Frank smack bad guy with great axe. That's how Frank plays. Not a whole lot of depth to that combat, and that's just the way that I wanted it for this character. So, see here. Have I told you that I graduated top of my class from the University of Waterdeep? Professor Xavier's never had such a pupil as I. Yeah, that's definitely a wizard right there. Oh gosh. Well, Piku, would you like to go through a bard and making a character? I actually haven't made a bard in D&D, so that might be. So yeah, so here I'm a sucker and I pay for D&D Beyond. Partially it helps out with our group and I'm able to share like the resources and stuff so we don't all have to buy the crap, which is perfect. So I have unlimited character sheets, but that's because I pay for it. So you can also download blank character sheets. The blank character sheets are free, it's on the internet. And like I said, we're gonna make a character right now, Piku. Yeah. So beginners, we can show help text, yeah. Oh, this is quite literally just the beginning text. So you have a couple of steps to making your character. You have a couple of steps to making your character. First and foremost is going to be the name. Now, this character is going to be a bard. Bards, how I have always envisioned them have been kind of free folk. They like to. Shouldn't you make your spouse's character though? I suppose. I don't know, Chrissy, did you have one that you wanted to? These are my ladies. The little strip club. Oh gosh. All right. We'll just make a character, and this is a classic from a book that book series that I love. So, Avienta is gonna be our bard. Yeah. First step is the character name. Come on. Oh. I'm gonna take out homebrew. Taking out partner content. milestone. Okay. Excuse me. So some of these I'm getting tried off at the moment. So you are able to pick the rules and contents that your character can be made from. However, always talk with your dungeon master about what to be picking with this stuff, because usually you'll probably just be playing with either core rules, content that they have available themselves, or you might just be doing a homebrew. Homebrew is a player-made content, like Commander Wiggler offered earlier. He said, "Can I make a killer clown that kills people with balloons?" And yeah, you totally can. That'd be a homebrew character type thing. So this is these checks are just things that give you options when making a character, but be careful because during the actual campaign that you're playing in, that content might not really be there. So with this stuff, with the sources, check with your dungeon master first. Partner content, that's just some like stuff that I've purchased, but like they do some weird, like they have a Minecraft and a Rick and Morty thing. I chose not to participate in that stuff. Digital dice rolling. That's what we were doing on the screen with this stuff. So like rolling a D8 here for everybody. Roll 6. You can enable or disable that. Advancement type. So this is how you can make me if you want. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll just make Chrissy. Chrissy, you okay with being a bard? I can see you being a bard. So the advancement type, this will also be dictated by your dungeon master, and it's just it determines which fashion the characters level up in. So there's experience points. There's experience points or milestones. Experience points is during sure. All right, cool. Experience points is going to be done where so your party kills a group of kobolds and you receive 25 experience points per kill. That's, in my personal experience, that one I think is going to be more difficult to run as a game as a whole. It lets characters think that they might be able to just do some grinding and stuff like that. I personally prefer milestones. So a milestone would be, do I still have it with that online? A milestone would be, remember that tavern we were walking into earlier as a group? Let's say the party successfully finds out where the objective is, and they've gathered some information, and then they make it to the next place after that tavern. Upon making it to the next place, the dungeon master might say, "Congratulations, party, you have leveled up from level 1 to level 2 at this milestone." So the milestones are just picking a plot point. For example, after the party in our campaign finished this dungeon in a sewer, it took them. It was a while. It was a long dungeon. It was big. None of us, like I mentioned earlier, none of us in a group except for one guy have ever played before, and we are all yes. This one dungeon took us all summer. We are not a methodical group. We don't know what we're doing. Combat takes a while, and it's still a lot of fun. It's just we just have patience around here all summer. We've been eating good food and having good times while doing it, though. When leveling up hit points by... Oh, okay. So just leave hit point type at fixed. That's fine. The rest of the stuff, I'm just going to say leave it whereas. Your character privacy, you can do that however you want. Yeah. There's encumbrance and stuff like that. I like using encumbrance because it makes players actually have to pay attention to how much they're carrying, and I think it adds to the role-playing portion just sort of naturally. Okay. Class. Choosing your class. All right, now we want to play as a bard. So they have barbarians, bards, clerics, druids, fighters, monks, paladins, rangers, rogues, sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards. I'm not going to go through all of the classes right now and what they do. Maybe we'll go through when, well, shit, I'm a loot goblin. Yeah. Yeah, you can probably become over encumbered and then not run away. I've also noticed it helps keep the players from being kleptomaniacs. So there's a lot of things they could be picking up, just whole skeletons or whatever. But with the weight, they're not just having like stuffing a bunch of skeletons in their back pocket type thing. Okay. And here's where I don't particularly shine. I'm able to go through and explain the dungeon master side of things, but the player portion I don't know a whole lot about. So this will be fun for me too. Not a druid. What am I doing? Bard. All right. So Bard, an inspiring performer of music, dance, and magic. Bards are experts at inspiring others, soothing hurts, disheartening foes, and creating illusions. So now their primary ability is charisma. So when looking at the character sheet, whoa, shit. Hey, what's up, tall boy? How you doing, man? Welcome on in, my homie. How was, were you still playing World of Warcraft? Hey, what's up, Mr. Yeah? How you doing? Oh, this was sick. I was so mad how fast he killed this guy.
Woohoo! Yes, sir! Yeah! Let's go! Oh my gosh! I can't believe it!
That's crazy. I love that. I was so glad I got to watch that. Well, welcome in, guys. Almost hit 18. Congratulations, man. Holy shit. When are you going to be going to your, Oh, thanks for the follow, Mystery. Yeah, I appreciate you. Your enthusiasm is the perfect buff for our D&D adventure. Such an epic moment. Oh, man. So welcome on in, gang. So I'm Jake Shuffle. I play games and I talk about recovery. So I'm an alcoholic in recovery. I've been sober for 2 years and change. Almost 2.5 years actually. And I like to kind of talk about recovery while playing games and sharing my message and stuff on Twitch. So anyway, so we're welcome on in, Tallboy. We're doing our little D&D 101 and we are making a bard named after Chrissy. So let's see. So the main ability that bards will use for their stat is charisma. Now, if you look at Frank from accounting, his main stat is strength, but he's a barbarian. That makes sense, right? Frank's charisma is 8 at a base, which means you get that modifier of -1 because the 8 base is below 10. Forgot D&D weekend. Yeah, we got so there's this tonight. I need to do some planning and stuff for tomorrow, so I had to actually bail out on some D&D tomorrow. And then we have D&D on Sunday as a group too. So yeah. Oh, it's just I missed the hey everyone, Feed the Tall Boy is here from Azeroth. This tall drink of water is diving into hardcore mode on their first playthrough of WoW. They're not just slaying orcs, but also tackling tough bosses and maybe even pooping their pants. Remember, it's all about progress, not perfection. Keep reaching for those stars one raid at a time. Oh, Lord. I hope you didn't, I hope you didn't actually not a tall drink of water. What an odd compliment. Oh. Oh man, so you unfortunately start out with just 8 points of health, and when making saves, you use dexterity and charisma. So bardic inspiration, you can supernaturally inspire others through words, music, or dance. This inspiration is represented by your bardic inspiration die, which is a D6. So bardic inspiration is a sort of like a class ability that you get right off the bat at level 1. A very close encounter, was inches from dying. Oh lord, was that did you go make it over to Westfall then, or were you still in the area that's to the east of Goldshire? Should I call my bard character? How about Melody Mender? Getting those high notes recorded at a time. We're just one beginner's luck away from a nat 20. Nice. Does the player actually have to sing and dance? Absolutely. That is up to the player and dungeon master discretion. There are things called inspiration points. So this is a system that's incorporated to promote role playing. So let's say characters. How do I phrase this? So Olivia has a character named Philia, and when Philia did something, when Olivia role played in a way that really brought out Philia's characteristics of like her as a character, I awarded an inspiration point. So the inspiration point then can be used to re-roll one die whenever you want, but only once. But I'm also able to give inspiration points whenever I want as the dungeon master. Just finished making a barbarian. Nice. What'd you call him, Art Dad? Yeah, I can't roleplay worth a damn. Tried many times with the wife, still ended too fast. Dare. They make pills for that. Knocked out by my tits. So some of the core traits as a bard. So at level 1, you get the things from below. So your saving throw stuff is based on your dexterity and your charisma. The weapon proficiencies. So proficiency means that you... How do I phrase this? You have been taught in the ways or have learned in the ways of whatever. Be it like a rapier, a short sword, a dagger. There's also proficiencies in armor, so we can talk about that, and tools. So these proficiencies give you advantages when using those things. So for example, I'm going back to Frank from Accounting the Barbarian. Frank uses a great axe. Frank also is proficient with using great axes. So since I'm proficient with it, that gives me a bonus to be able to hit with the great axe. So that's how that works with proficiency with a great axe. Zeract. Oh, Zero. I thought it was zero chemistry. Zeract the Misery. I love it. Chop him. Oh, Lord. So bards are normally only proficient with light armor. And then here is your starting equipment that you get to pick from. You get to pick either actual equipment or just straight up gold. I usually choose the equipment. So, show less. So, spellcasting for the bard. So, bards get cantrips as well as spells. Cantrips are essentially spells that your character has so memorized that it doesn't take any effort for them to do. So it could be a spell or just an action. Trying to think of something like real life, like we'll say like driving. Driving could be like a cantrip. You drive to wherever as your action. Oh shit. Hey, what's up, Yanich? Thanks for following, man. Appreciate you guys. Yanich and Mr. Yeah. Oh man, what's going on? May your D&D adventures be as chill as a yawn on a cozy night. Oddly specific, but I like it. It's oddly self-explanatory, making the character. Yeah, yep. That's 170, Olivia. So as you level up, your character gets more abilities. This makes sense. More features get unlocked, and then you're also able to multi-class. So this is where it gets. I will just say I think that's where it gets a little bit more complicated. So you start out as a bard, and then let's say you get to level 3, and then you want to start leveling as another class. So you could be a level 3 bard, and then also a level 1 druid. Then you get to pick which class you're leveling up as you go, I believe is how it works. So you get benefits from both, but you also get downsides from both. Is how my cantrip is ruining the mood. Jeez. Oh man. So when your bard reaches levels 4 and 10, you get another cantrip. And all of this stuff it's relatively self-explanatory when reading it. However, a lot of the verbiage gets kind of confusing when you're thinking spells, prepared spells, and stuff like that. So it does help myself to write the terminology down, just so I can help get it closer into my. Yeah, catnip is good on saltines. Gross. Let's see. Oh, so for spell casting, and this is for Drew. Jeez, Pete's. For bards, their spell casting is based on their charisma. That is not true for all spell casting of other classes. Their spell casting could be based on intelligence, which it usually is, or wisdom. Intelligence and wisdom are usually the two main spellcasting ability modifiers, but for the bard, it is their charisma, which makes it different and why it's a lot of fun to play, because you don't just use your charisma talking to people, you use your charisma as a part of your spellcasting. Yeah, I'll get it more into that later too. Lost on focus. Focus in spellcasting. Oh, so a focus, I see, I'm sorry. So mystery, yeah, a focus is the thing that you use to channel your magic. So for like wizards and stuff, no, it's more your your focus is your medium. So wizards might use wands, warlocks might use warlocks might use like a magic orb. And bards use their musical instrument. So it could be like a flute, or a guitar, or a violin, or a trumpet. Yep, whatever musical instrument that you have in the game. The way you would role play it out is you could be like, the way you could role play it out is if your bard has a trumpet, you could be like, I cast bardic inspiration. And that's how you cast it. So it's just a part of the role playing. I'm always a fan of my bards having the violin because I like the violin. Oh, magic quill. I didn't think about that, Olivia. That's a good idea. Damn good hand trumpet. Yeah, I got a lot of practice with the hand trumpet. Anyway, so we have decided to play a bard. Now we have to make a couple of choices. We're going to pick a musical instrument, right? And is trumpet on here? Hey, trumpet's on here. Nice. So now we're gonna pick a couple of. So the tools are our musical instruments, and then we are also gonna choose some skills to be proficient in. So this is where it's somewhat intuitive, but we'll say here's intimidation. This is a pretty classic one. So when I was mentioning that that Frank the Barbarian was trying to lift up and then intimidate the tavern owner, if you have a proficiency in intimidation, that gives you a bonus that gives you a bonus on some of your stuff. So like right now, Frank actually has a +1 in intimidation because he is proficient in intimidation. Now, this is how you sort of start to flesh out your character and how you want to play them. Now, perhaps you want your bard to be good at persuasion. They know a whole lot about nature, and they... Hey, what's up, survivalist, man? Hope you got your food. Hope you got a nice break in you. We are making a bard right now. So we're just kind of going through, I just went through like a brief breakdown of what the differences in classes are. Nothing too major because I don't know. I do know enough to go in depth, but I don't know enough to go in depth teaching it. To practice with the hand. You are, sir. Jeez. Okay. Trumpet. Anyway. Thanks. Appreciate that, Warlock. That's good. Yeah, I got a lot of practice. I saw that look. Yeah, I didn't have the sunglasses on though, so oh gosh. Let's choose another skill. Oh, here's a good one for bards: performance. As far as like role playing goes, so performing, let's say you want to, I took that personally. Yeah, that was people messing with me all day with innuendos. Oh gosh. Yeah, there's plenty of innuendos, especially when playing D&D. It's yeah, that's just great. So performance would be, let's say you want to create a distraction in that tavern. Frank from accounting, who's the barbarian, wants to go and do something, but he needs a distraction in order to be able to bust down this door that's upstairs in the tavern. So now Frank is asking Chrissy to do Chrissy the bard, to do a performance in the main area to kind of grab people's attention and stuff like that. So that's when performance could be used. Now, Bardic Inspiration, this is a main bard ability and one of its defining traits, right? So Bardic Inspiration is a bonus action. So there's actions and bonus actions, and it gets kind of complicated, but I can promise you there's step-by-steps on this one. You're gonna boob them to death. I always, do you guys always love, this is such a side tangent, but I always love shitty writing whenever they're like, the princess descended the stairs and the boobs bounced a boobly. It's like how men write women or whatever. That's how I get the men in. Exactly. Maybe should we change one of these to percussionist? Yeah, it's... Never mind. Oh gosh. So as a bard, you get bardic inspiration, which allows, and we mentioned that you do a lot of die rolling, right? So the bardic inspiration lets someone roll an additional die when they're trying to perform an action. So it gives them like, what is it, like a 1d6? Is that what it is usually? The die becomes a D8 at level 5 and a D10 level 10, D12 at level 15. Okay, it is, so you roll a D6 to start, and they get that bonus to, they roll a D6 and get that bonus to whatever they're trying to do. Bardic Inspiration sounds really lame, but it is extremely, extremely useful because sometimes a fail or pass on an action can make a world of a difference in a game. You're trying to persuade somebody to let you buy, and you perform a Bardic Inspiration on your buddy that's trying to persuade, and they're actually able to get a successful persuasion to get you to wherever you want to go. Hell yeah. I mean, that's awesome. And obviously it only gets better and better as, you level up. Now, that's if you're at a bard level 5. Now, I mentioned earlier you can multi-class. This is when it becomes important because let's say you want to get to level 5 specifically to have a D8 as your Bardic Inspiration. You want to have that in mind. Okay, let's see here. Spellcasting. You have learned how to cast spells through your Bardic arts. So you're casting spells through your medium, which would be the trumpet or what have you. Whenever you gain a bard level, you can place one of your cantrips with another one. So the cantrips are the spells that you have memorized, and your character is able to use them whenever at the cost of only an action during a turn. And so this note about the cantrips being replaced when you level up, that is a specific to a bard. Other classes might be able to switch their cantrips whenever. These are details that are important to pay attention to. Okay, let's see. So, and your actual spell slots. Now, the bard features table how many spell slots you can cast, +1 spells. The amount of spells that you have and the amount of spells that you gain to be able to use over time differ between the classes, which makes sense. I mean, let's say a wizard who studies magic all of his life and that's all he does, they will gain more spells quicker than a bard would. Another thing is that you have to have spells prepared. Some of this stuff I don't want to go into too much detail until we... It's a little difficult for me to explain. So your prepared spells are the things that you have equipped. Think of it like you have to have spells equipped, like you have to have your sword and shield equipped, or as a bard, like you would have a rapier and a buckler, maybe, you know. So for a bard, your main ability is charisma for casting spells, and then your focus is going to be a musical instrument that we talked about. You get to make a background for your character. So let's say Chrissy came from she had to perform in an evil strip club, and she ended up killing the owner in self-defense, and then had to flee the city where she was working as a bard at the strip club, like performing songs and stuff like for the strippers. What I have no idea. So you make up this character and you kind of you make up this background for your character and flesh it out, and it gives details and lets your dungeon master be able to write you into the story. So perhaps, you know, since you worked at a strip club, perhaps one of the strippers, your ex-coworkers, comes into a scene later on in the campaign. It adds a little bit of flavor, it adds some fun, adds some things for you to do, which is why backgrounds are important. Now, you don't have to write a whole novella about your background. I took it. Oh, I'm sorry. You killed the owner, then took over the strip club. I got you. Okay. So then, are you going on adventures just because you're bored of the bardic life in a strip club? Yeah, you can create a character. You can also base a character off of something else. Let's see, one of your favorite characters in a TV show. You could, I don't know, shoot, like from How I Met Your Mother. Your bard could act like, God, what's the guy's name? Who like sleeps with everybody in that show or whatever. But it doesn't matter. You can create your character all on your own. You can take some influence from other sources. It's really up to you. You could also make your character somehow be a purple dinosaur that's hell-bent on murdering children. You never know. But yes, I would also talk to your DM about it, just because it's usually a good thing to just talk to them about, so they can make sure it's appropriate for the world and for the story as well. Big adventures, because I'm a loot goblin and I love skulls, specifically skulls. So you're collecting as many and interesting skulls as you can. That's messed up, but all right, we can work with it. So now we have a background. Oh my God, his name is Barney. Oh my God, you're right. Oh, well. Thank you, Heathy. Appreciate that. Holy Jesus, it's already 10:30. All right. So you can also choose backgrounds, but, you know, really it's up to you. Criminal for funsies. So your backgrounds that you pick and make will give you specific proficiencies. So because for this one we just picked a criminal, your ability scores on stuff will be dexterity, constitution, and intelligence. You get a feat. You become proficient in some skills and proficient with a new set of tools. Now, if you're going to do soldier, you get a new feat, and then you get athletics and intimidation for skills. Let's go back to criminal. Make multiple characters, play all of them in one campaign, and does the DM choose what works with the story? If you so would like, I'm sure you could play multiple characters if you wanted. That can be a little difficult just from my doesn't like children either. That could be difficult from a role-playing standpoint, I suppose, just keeping things straight. But I mean, that's really up to you. I mean, if you have 2 actual players and you both want to play 2 characters to have a 4-character party, but with 2 people controlling them, I wouldn't personally have a problem with that. Just to flesh out a party, but okay. I am going to. Thanks for reminding me I need to cook dinner. I'm gonna run some ads and take a short break real quick. I also just really need to pee, so drinking this water like it's going out of fashion. Time is flying tonight. One more minute here. I'm back, Chrissy. I'm back. I might actually not play games tonight. I was thinking about playing some more Bloodborne, but it's almost 11 o'clock. I've noticed that I don't play Bloodborne super great after midnight. After midnight, my Bloodborne skills go down really fast. All right, ads are done. Stop being so adorable. I can't help it. All right. So we have the criminal background, and the backgrounds allow you to pick different things. So I'm not going to get too hung up on it because I think a lot of this stuff is fun to discover on your own. But this one allows us to choose between dexterity, constitution, and intelligence to increase those scores by 2 and another by 1, or all of them by 3. Now, if you remember, charisma is going to be the main characteristic of a bard. So, what we probably want to find is a background that's more appropriate for that. What you want to have it do is be, excuse me. We'll stick with criminal just for funsies, though. What you would want to do is usually you'd want to increase your charisma skill because that's your main modifier. However, this is just not going to let us do it. But dexterity, constitution, and intelligence are all important. I'm going to choose, so constitution is how much hit points you have. Can't wait for my internet to get turned back on so I can actually see your face. An adorable little blob. Yeah, add a little pink blob right now with that filter, but so we can add +1. I'm gonna pick +1 to dexterity and then +2 to constitution. The constitution will give me more health. The dexterity will hopefully let me ignore some traps and stuff like that. Character details, you can choose your alignment. So this is the infamous like chaotic good, awful neutral, neutral evil. This is however you would want to play. Man, I don't know, Chrissy, what do you think? Would your character be like a chaotic good? Because you took out the bad strip club owner. Kind of chaotic though. Kind of chaotic. That might be a good one. Some of this other stuff, so like faith and then lifestyle. Lifestyle is however much gold you're just starting with. Yeah, none of this actually really matters, truth be told. It does a little bit if you want to do it from a role-playing standpoint. Faith, there's plenty of actual in-game faiths as well. There's chaotic good. I thought so, Chrissy. I thought so. There's a ton of faiths in D&D and in all of these stories. You could also talk to your DM about that. The particular campaign might have some backgrounds to just pick from and some specific faiths, things like that. That just sort of helps with the role playing, and it kind of makes the world more fun to interact with. I think the more that you flesh out your character, the more life you put into your character, the more fun that you'll have with it. You can do all your personal characteristics, whatever, stuff like that. I'm gonna skip over that for right now. You pick your species, the trait, the age, things like that stuff. So we're just gonna go from the core rules. I don't want to show any legacy content. So in the core rules, you have dwarf, elf, halfling, and human. We'll do elf for funsies. How about that? So this will describe your character's benefits and downsides. Elves have dark vision, which is super handy. You get to see in the dark with a range of 60 feet. There's other specifics and things like that you get to kind of pick from. You get to pick some of your lineage, and then these are all more options like that are more interesting to read into, I think. There's Drow, High Elf, and then Wood Elf. They all have their own sort of backgrounds, and you can match them up to elves. And you know me. I had a feeling. So you're able to go more in depth with your character through these. Then there's also play style stuff. So here is how you get to pick your lineage spell. This is just the elven stuff. So all of these things, these details are specific based on what you're picking. This is one reason he knows his spell. It's really useful to pick and make a character online because upon the creation, it will fill out all of the tables for you and show you where your bonuses are supposed to go. Now, I will recommend getting at least the player handbook and the monster manual as like physical copies of the books. If you do decide to play, it's really useful just to have a physical copy. It's always there. Sometimes the internet goes down. I will tell you how many freaking times like I've had technical difficulties with whatever it is I'm trying to do right at the worst moment whenever you're like just about to have a lot of fun with something or whatever. So don't let yourself get bogged down too much by all of these details. You can read into these more as you go into it. I've been mentioning that charisma is the main modifier of our bard as the class, so I'm going to keep picking stuff related to charisma, because the modifier will be the highest, if that makes sense. So now we get to pick a spell, which we're given because we're an elf. Elves get to start with a spell. We'll take Firebolt. Shoot a bolt of fire. That's just my luck. Let's see. You also get to pick, because you're an elf, you get a bonus in one of these other skills. You get it's like a proficiency, basically. Survival, sure. You get to pick languages that your character is able to speak. Common, so that's sign language. Yeah, sure, you know sign language. You know sign language and Elvish. Now, here's a really important part is the generation method. You will get your... I thought you'd be fine with the firebolt too. So I will suggest using standard array when making your character. And one reason for that is that it's already set ability points, like 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. It's already set at that. Makes it a little easier. And your character will be, for the most part, balanced. You're able to also so these numbers would be rolling to put them as your strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. You get to pick which one goes where of these numbers, but these are the numbers that you put into those slots. I'm half deaf. Yeah, you did mention that you had some hearing loss, actually, I remember, yeah. You are also to roll or randomly generate your scores, which can be dicey. You're also able to do it through point cost. So I suggest doing a standard array just from the ease of use. So, which is what we're going to do. So here's our standard array of numbers, which gives us the set numbers to pick from, which is just useful. Charisma is what I've been saying we want to have as our main stat, so we're going to pick that one as our highest number. Remember, choosing above 10 gives you a bonus, so above 10, 17 gets a +3, 10 gets a +0, 8 gets a -1 to the modifier. So we need to be careful about which ones of those we pick, because there will be some downsides to the character, which also makes it kind of fun. So speaking of, let's just put the wisdom at 8. We can give you a 10 intelligence. Constitution, this is your... Actually, hang on. I'm just kind of running through this stuff. Give you a constitution of 13, dexterity 14, a strength of 10. Now, there's upsides and downsides to having the bonuses or otherwise to some of these, and I personally don't know all the nuances about it because I have not played a whole lot. I could not tell you if at level 10 having dexterity of 14 tends to be really handy because something comes up at level 10. That's where, years and years of experience really helps, and I just don't have that. But you are able to look up things like stat priorities. So remember, we're playing in 5th edition rules, 5e. Uh, 5e stat priorities. So, like I said, this game has been out for 50 years. There's a ton of information out there, and I've never played. So it's yeah, it is what it is. You can look up the information on like priority, main priority, second priority, or like whatever things your character probably would not need to worry about. So if you end up getting worried about optimizing some of these scores, trust me, there's information out there that will say, they might say that, yeah, wisdom's kind of useful, so maybe you want to have that as a 10 so it doesn't get the -1 modifier. Any information you want to look up, it's out there. I can trust me on that. So here's the overview of what the scores are going to look like. So we get modifiers of plus on the ones above 10 and then a minus on the wisdom. So the actual the actual wisdom score is going to be 7 as far as rolls go. Let me know when you plan on playing. I had serious lack of TTRPG the last year. Yes, I will let you know. I don't have anything planned at the moment. We'll see if that changes. There's based on interests and stuff. There's been enough interest, I think, to do something. I just need to find the time. Survivalist. Everyone putting the dude's deck I was borrowing. Damn. It's a good way to go about it. So now you get to pick your character's equipment. They give you just a couple. So remember we picked that criminal starting background? That also affects what our equipment we get to pick from. So for the bard, that's our class. Starting equipment, we get to choose between these two. Oh, geez. Where's our horn? Yeah, horn. And then we can also get some daggers, thieves' tools. Thieves' tools are used for opening locks and stuff like that. Where do I submit an application? I'm new here. Yeah, I was just saying, so Warlock, it's like you... Oh, who are you? It'd be, like, I think you, Survivalist, Biscuits have... I know people have mentioned interest in playing and stuff. I would totally be down to explaining and running, like, short campaign to show how it's played and stuff like that, but I will tell you guys I will think about it. Okay. So now we have our character of Chrissy, and we can view our character sheet. Et voila! We have Chrissy, the elf bard, who is level 1. So now we see our armor class. I mentioned that earlier. That's an important factor. I think we'll actually go over more of this stuff later. Do I have a criminal record? And well, you're horny. Yeah, bards are always horny. You down to help with the setup? I got you, Warlock. Yeah. So the character sheet. Oh, here's the heroic inspiration that I mentioned. So the inspiration points are to be able to reuse a roll of a die. I'm sliding away on my floor. So now you have all of your stat points and their respective modifiers. So overall, your charisma is going to be like a 7. It gets a +1 when we roll. So you rolled a charisma check, roll a 13, but you get a +2 because our charisma is at 15. Here's our saving throws, which we got to pick some of that stuff. So we got to pick some modifiers into dexterity and charisma. We have some of our passive skills. It shows what armor we are able to wear, light armor, which is based on the class, the bard. Weapons we're able to use simple weapons. And the weapons will all say what they are specifically, too. Just adding the equipment very quick. Oh, I added stuff twice. So a dagger. So over here in this description, and this is something that's nice about the app and the website, is that it will bring up additional information. Thinking of DMing something in the future and getting an itch? All right, that's fair. I'm sure you're a fantastic dungeon master too, survivalist. Hey, what's up, sweet buns? How you doing? So in the description of the dagger, you have so it is proficiency, weapon, common. Where did I just see it? Oh, so here it says simple, so it's a simple weapon. Okay. It's also Linus, light thrown, thick and range. Hey, good to see you too. Glad you're here. He never calls me sweet bun. Not not while we're streaming. Jeez. So that's, and then you can also look at all of your equipment that you had, which we did pick through a lot of this stuff. The equipment was based off of picking Bard as a class and then Criminal as the background. In your backpack, you have some general items. And then something that you need to make sure that you do is actually equip your stuff. It's important. You equip your stuff so that you can use it. When it has the little check mark next to it, it means it's active. Call me sweet tits. Ay, ay, ay. Ladies and gentlemen, one at a time. One at a time. Let's see, you have your hit points up on the top. Yeah, there's a whole bunch. The initiative is for when combat starts. So whenever the DM says, please roll me for initiative, you're about to be in combat. The initiative is where you lie on the little totem pole, which I have a little sword and a stone that sits so I can write players' names on it and slot them in specific spots. So it's just like a visual to help us see, like, you go top to bottom on the rolls based on the initiative. Oh man, I think that might be. We have fun here. We have fun here. I didn't get sober to have a bad time, so. Man, I think that's probably gonna wrap it up for my spiel, truth be told. I think I might play some games, but I need to make myself some more food. Olivia, if you're still here, I did eat before I hopped on, but I didn't actually make dinner. So that's going to be on my game plan here next, I think. So Sweet Buns, thank you for. Yeah, I figured I owed you that much. Yeah, so Sweet Buns, thanks for chiming in. I'm sorry for kind of ending it shortly after you come on in, but thank you for joining all the same. Yeah, well, thank you, Chrissy. I appreciate you for that. That's yeah, it's hard as fuck. Addiction's not fun. I'll just say that. Survivalists, thank you for tuning in. Man, I got a buddy who's doing a 48-hour stream. It's a bit different. He's playing Nier Automata, but he's such an excellent guy that I think it would be fun to go on in and show him some support while he's starting out in this adventure for him. He will be getting a little bit of sleep in his 48-hour stream, don't worry. I am going to look into doing this more often from a hey, I appreciate you, Heathy. I'm going to look into doing stuff like this a little bit more often since there seems to be enough interest in doing it. So Survivalist, Warlock, I'll talk to you guys. I'll talk to everybody. Heathy, I Butter Biscuits, I think Bowie mentioned maybe something like that. So yeah, I'll see what I can do. My hope is that after tonight or maybe one more session, for some 101s, that you might be comfortable enough to be interested in looking and starting your own group. Like I said, the time it takes, the hardest part is getting the scheduling done and everybody together. The game is not nearly as intimidating. There's a lot of numbers on the screen. There's a lot of information, but all of it is, basic math and reading. And then there's also resources, I'm sure, that will read the books out loud to you and all that jazz. So, yeah, on the phone screens just don't really do anybody justice, I don't think. So, man, thank you guys so much for chiming in tonight. I appreciate all of you. I'm going to go over my little... I like that the Moobot has a little overview of what happened today. Heathy, thank you for the biddies. I appreciate you. Mostly I appreciate you just for you being you. I will see you soon, I am sure. More on your Liza P journeys. Rapid Action, thank you for chatting. Tallboy, thank you for the... Oh, geez, Heathy, thank you for the selfies tab. I should, actually. Heathy, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Tallboy, thank you for the raid. Appreciate you bringing in Mr. Yeah and Yanich. Thank you guys for chatting and following. Sweet Buns, thanks for coming on in and hanging around. Yeah. Again, thank you guys for the biddies. Man, Heathy just dropped 100 bits like they're hot potatoes and Jake Shuffle's Get Good or Die Trying Adventures. Your support is leveling up Jake Shuffle's recovery and gaming journey faster than a Souls speedrun. Let's keep the love and bits rolling one day at a time. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I will... Actually, that's a good point. I'm going to make a pets tab for sure on the Discord. So... If you guys so wish to hear more about future stuff D&D related as it comes out, feel free to pop in over at the Discord. Nothing too busy going on over there, but I do post my schedules and stuff, and I will let people know in advance, specifically on the Discord for the special events like today. And it looks like we are 30 followers away from doing a Senwa cosplay stream. So Senwa's the Viking lady from the Hellblade game. So that'll be fun. I'm pretty excited. Yeah, well, we got some stuff. We got some fun stuff going on. So, yeah, I will raid us out. So I appreciate everybody hanging around. If you're able to follow along with the raid, please do. If otherwise, please make sure to take care of yourself and others. I can't type at the same time as trying to talk like this. So Robe Mantella is doing a 48-hour stream for funsies. He will be getting some sleep in between, though, to make sure. But feel free to join me in wishing him some good luck, and I will see you guys all next time. So check the Discord for more information on more D&D stream and related stuff for that, and I'll probably see you next time playing some Bloodborne. Have a great night, everybody. Take care. Love y'all.